All right, welcome everybody to our B3 Sciences 10 minutes with Dr. Mike and Jeannine today. So I'm excited to be co-hosting with Dr. Mike and talking about the new way for weight loss. And I am very passionate about this topic. I have been helping people lose weight for probably 28 years now. I started out as a clinical dietitian and worked on the weight loss team, diabetic team, and then branched off. So I wanted to put nutrition and fitness together. And so opened up a women's center to do that in Utah, and then another one in Idaho. And then my husband and I continued to expand and do nutrition and fitness together. And that has always been, I felt like if we put those two together, then the magic will happen. And it's so true. And so this is definitely one of my favorite topics. And I was blessed about 3.5 years ago to meet Dr. Mike and to be able to incorporate BFR training in with our fitness aspect, along with our health aspect of our health coaching and weight loss management. And it just kind of elevates that. It just makes it so much more successful. So BFR training, if those of you guys that are new to it, we'll just go through a quick review of the sciences on it. Some of you guys very familiar with it, some of you aren't. But as you know, when you put these great bands on right here, and you pump them up and you do your workout, then that it starts to slow down the flow of blood of it starts to slow down the blood flow and reduce the oxygen into the muscle. And so the brain will release a lot of this growth hormone. And this growth hormone is what we want to talk about today in relation to weight loss. So as we're younger, we have a lot of this growth hormone. So it's not really a problem until as we get older. And I love this slide right here. You can kind of see as we're young, we have a lot. I had my grandkids with me today. They have all kinds of growth hormone. They can crash and burn. They heal up right away and they do great. But as we get older, and you can kind of see, even as you go into your 20s and stuff, those start to decrease. And just talk about this slow decline. So now you can tell as it declines, you can see, like for me, except for example, I'm at age 50 now, and I am without BFR training would be very low in growth hormone. And I didn't understand this at first. I honestly didn't. I didn't know what growth hormone was until I actually had a good friend that was helping me. She's a esthetician and she knew all about growth hormone. She was explaining how important that was as we age. And then as I met Dr. Mike and he explained more about the growth hormone and the effect that it has. And as it decreases, your metabolism starts to slow down. It has this direct effect on our metabolism. And so when I talk to clients and stuff, that a lot of times they complain as they get older, then they start gaining weight. And there's a couple different reasons, but one of them could be that their metabolism is definitely slowing down with this decrease of growth hormone. And this is something that can't be stopped. I mean, we don't generally stop the aging process typically, but now that we have this tool, we have some options that we can help with that. So let's go to the next slide and talk a little bit more about the effects of that decrease. So sometimes, you start seeing that more of a weight gain. Usually when I work with women, we see a little more weight gain in the lower abdominal area, and it's a little more stubborn as they age. But men also tend to get more of the belly fat, and we see a loss of muscle. And I've been doing body scans for a long time, and I've been able to see as people get older, they're decreasing in muscle mass and also some other factors that come into play. But this growth hormone does take a direct effect. It also affects your energy. And so I heard one of the gals as she was introducing herself saying that she was looking for energy. And this does help so much as you get some of that growth hormone back to get your energy back. And I'm glad that she felt that. Also the fatigue, lack of sleep, decreased libido, thin and dry skin, and a lot of some of the medical conditions like pain and arthritis and loss of bone density. So as we go more into the exercise-induced human growth hormone, as you use your bands and the BFR training, you can simulate the brain to stimulate the growth hormone release. And this growth hormone can reverse the aging process for 5, 10, 15 years. And I personally feel like it's reversed about 20 to 30 years on my body. I feel so much better than I do in my 20s now that I'm 30 or 50. I'm not 30, but I feel 30. And I felt this, and I was just reading an article today. I think I shared this with Dr. Mike about the effects of exercise and anti-aging, and how it's coming out that exercise can reverse the physical aging process in the body. And by adding in that elevated growth hormone, it even elevates that even more. So I think that's why we get the accelerated effect of anti-aging and the skyrocketing of our metabolism, which is what we want to focus on today, is that no other therapy currently can have the impact on aging and weight loss that human growth hormone has. So this is, I call it the miracle. It is a miracle that you can have this human growth hormone and start helping with the weight loss process. And this is one of my favorite things to share with people, because as we work out, and I can train people as a personal trainer and at our gym, we can train them in pretty intense workouts. I mean, we like to see them sweat, and we were training them hard and training them with heavy weights and stuff, high intensity, what we've thought a high intensity type training. But a lot of times they would get the slower results and slower muscle growth. But with the BFR training and the B3 bands here, we're able to get 25 times that growth hormone. And you can see the release there, and where it's stimulating from into the muscle growth, the bone growth, and of course that metabolism. So a lot of times we haven't experienced this. I call it kind of the runner's high without having to run. And I can do this in just real light exercise. I don't have to train people really intense anymore. I can train them in about 20 minutes with really light weights, and they'll get a much deeper fatigue and therefore get all this growth hormone surge that we're looking for. So, but a big part that, like I talked about at the beginning, putting together that nutrition and fitness, a lot of people that I work with have started integrating a lot of that nutrition already, right? A lot of people come with me struggling with weight loss, and they've tried a lot of different things. And it's interesting as I ask them, okay, what type of things have you tried in the past and what has been successful for you? And trying to find things that have worked. And a lot of times, for example, keto, that's been really popular, which I think is kind of recycled back from the day when we had, the low carb diets back in the 90s. Intermittent fasting is really popular now. Vegans, meal prepping, a lot of these are different eating styles. And then a lot of these are different types of diets that you can, we've got low carb, high carb, low fat. I mean, it's just kind of seems like it's cycled through. And as people, and some of you have tried, dieting in the past to try to lose weight. I know in my family, it seemed like as I was growing up, my dad was always trying to lose weight or gain weight. He'd been a wrestler in college, and so he had been through dieting cycles, and that's what he knew. So to lose weight, he'd go on these diets and he'd lose like 25 pounds, and then he'd gain 50 pounds. And then he'd lose 50 pounds and he'd gain 75 pounds. And then he'd lose 75 and gain 100. So it was kind of this yo-yo effect, just going on a strict eating plan or a diet and then yo-yoing back up. And each time that, a lot of times you lose weight, and a lot of times when we calculated with the weight loss, we could see, as you needed your calories, that a lot of times about 50% of your weight loss was fat and 50% was lean muscle. That was just a formula that we used there when I was working as a clinical dietitian, so that we could estimate about how much of your weight loss was actual fat. And so when you start eating, let's say that you were eating 1,800 calories and your body burned 1,800 calories before, but you went on a diet and you lost weight and you lost some of your lean muscle mass, then your metabolic rate slowed down. And so when you went back to eating 1,800, your body didn't actually burn 1,800 anymore. It was now burning 1,500, 1,600 because you'd lost some of that ability to burn. So you ended up gaining back more weight than you lost. So this kind of explains that yo-yo effect, why you lose weight and why you gain weight when you go off these diets. And this is the problem that is often faced so much. And I know some of you may have faced it in the past with dieting and your eating plan. So I wanted to go into this a little bit more and just explain what is happening in your body and what your body really needs, so that we can prevent this in the future as you're going through, if you're trying to lose weight for your New Year goals. I just wanted to bring up a lot of times we use body scanning to see, but you can do body comp. You can even use calculators to find out what your basal metabolic rate is too. But on a body composition machine or on a body scan, what you're able to get is this basal metabolic rate. This is what your body burns just to function and to survive, right? So my body just to function is 1255. And I have to tell you, this sounds low, and it is low. But before, this was when I had it tested, about 6 years ago at our World Fitness Conference. It was in like the 1100s. So it is significantly higher now. I'm shorter, and that does play a role. But also there's different factors, but lean muscle mass is a big part of this basal metabolic rate. So with your basal metabolic rate, this isn't the amount of calories that your body needs. This is just that you need to eat. This is just the amount of calories that your body needs to kind of function. So we usually encourage people not to go below too much lower than that basal metabolic rate. So then you can see the calorie expenditure. That is the calories that your body needs with exercise. So I plugged in that I exercise 6 days a week. So for me to maintain my weight, I would need to eat 2134 calories a day, 2,134 calories per day to maintain my current weight. So if I wanted to lose weight, if I wanted to drop some weight to decrease some of my body fat there, it shows that with a 628 calorie deficit, I would be at 1,500 calories a day. And this is doable. And I'm not saying that you need to count calories. I'm just saying this is kind of giving you an idea, calories in versus calories out, and what we can do with BFR training to help boost that number up, right? That's our goal. Our goal is to boost the number. I got to show you, hopefully you can see this. This is a pound of muscle, and this is a pound of fat. So when people say, I always ask people, what is heavier, a pound of muscle or a pound of fat? And sometimes, the fat is heavier than the muscle. Well, actually, of course, a pound is a pound and they weigh the same. But if you can see these side to side, you can see that the muscle is a lot leaner. So it affects your inches. So that if you have more muscle, you're gonna be tighter, right? You're gonna have less inches. So this is the goal, to increase that lean muscle mass and decrease this fat mass, so that your body has a more toned, and that your metabolism, this basal metabolic rate, is higher so that you can burn at rest. So there's a lot of great studies on this. There really is. So Harvard did a study on the afterburn. We used to call it EPOC, but the afterburn is what your body burns after you work out. So you can look at your watch. We have tons of people that wear their fit watches in classes and stuff. They're like, they judge my class based on how many calories they burn. And I just, in the class, but if you're doing BFR training, right, B3 with the B3 bands, you're burning so much more after the workout too. So you burn quite a bit during the workout, but after the workout is actually that afterburn is what boosts up with your metabolism, is also taking into account that calorie out. So the calories in, calories out, you have to take in consideration the amount of calories that you burn the rest of the day. And if you boost up that metabolic rate by increasing your lean muscle, so 1 pound of muscle burns about 50 calories and 1 pound of fat burns 2 calories. So if you're increasing your lean mass, you're increasing the ability for your body just to burn naturally, sleeping and awake. And that's the goal. So we want to try to boost that up. So you have increased your quantity of calories burned afterwards. So therefore, okay, let's get back to the science part of it. Well, for 1 minute here. Sorry, I'm going to pull that back. If you're normally eating, say you do a MyFitnessPal or something, you're tracking how much you eat just to kind of see for fun. And you see you're normally eating 1,800, you add in BFR training and you're still eating 1,800 calories, that increases a weight loss burn, a weight loss effect right there. So accelerates that. But sometimes the problem has been when working with people is that we need them to do this high intensity exercise in order to get that EPOC or that afterburn, and in order to build up that muscle that they need to bump up their metabolism. So we need to do high intensity training, or we need to do heavy lifting to get their muscle up, but they can't. A lot of times we work with people with injuries, and you may have injuries yourself. right? You may have problems, knees, backs, hips, whatever. A lot of times these things prevent us from doing the activities that we really want to do, or it may be a time issue. You may be really busy, limited time during the day, and you can't do some high intensity exercise, just physically not able to, or looking for a place to do it, not having the space. So there's a lot of challenges that come with trying to do the high intensity exercise, and people struggle with that. So this is the solution. I love the solution that we have now. I feel like this is the best thing that's come out in the fitness industry, honestly. And I've been in this fitness industry for a really long time, and I have never seen anything like this at all the trade shows, anything like this. I've never seen the effects of what these do, but also anything close to it. So when you put on these bands and you pump them up and you adjust those pressures and you start doing that light exercise, the oxygen flow is reduced. It's not cut off, it's just reduced. Slow down the flow of oxygen into the muscle. So it makes exercise easy and quick, and you don't have any soreness afterwards. It heals your body up so quickly with that extra growth hormone and the additional nitric oxide release that's given, that you don't even feel the pain. So just in these short things, this is one of my favorite ones, is 4-minute legs. You can do these really quick. I usually do them before an event or something, because if I'm going to go do a race, I like to get the growth hormone, the nitric oxide kicked out before I go do any type of run, swim, bike, or triathlon or whatever. And you can see right here, there's all ages can do that. Awesome. 3-minute arms. It's nice to have Greg Whitehead right there and those guns. It's perfect. And Ocean there, as she's seen miraculous things happen with using the bands with her pain issues. I wanted to spotlight Holly. Holly's very dear to me. She's one of my clients that's lost over 200 pounds. And when she came to me, she was one of those that had a hard time with high intensity exercise. And she's also struggling with weight loss. She was in that yo-yo cycle. And so we got her on a good eating plan to match up with her exercise. And that's the thing, it's good to kind of match those things up. And with the bands, she was able to accelerate that weight loss also. And she got into, at first, where she had lymphedema. And so she was having some difficulties and not able to use those on her legs. So we just put them on her arms, and she just did really light exercise with her fibromyalgia. She also had a lot of pain issues, so we couldn't do heavy exercise. So these were perfect for her, and helped her to release a lot of that weight. And Sarah here, who is looking fabulous, also lost, I think, over like 130 pounds, and has really built up a lot of muscle tone using using BFR training, and also loves them. So if you haven't had a chance to try these, and one of your goals is to try to lose weight, then I would strongly recommend just giving it a 30-day test drive. That's what I love about this. You 30 days, test drive it, see if you like it, send it back if you don't. And they also have a 0 down, 0 interest for 6 months program to help facilitate that. One other thing that they have is a B3 coach that will help guide you and help give you a program. So one of the programs that I really love that Coach Easton sends out is the weight loss program. And it just gives you a cycle, and it's suggested. We're not going to tell you this is, you have to do this exercise, you have to do the gun and the leg workout. But on the weight loss plan, it suggests going upper body one day, lower body another day, and a cardio core, and then an upper and a lower and a cardio core. And this is actually my preferred cycle. I like to lift this way, and I follow this upper lower cardio core, and it's been very successful with a lot of my clients as we've integrated that lifting technique. But there's so many different programs if you want to build muscle. This is a weight loss one, but there's a building one. There's performing better. There's so many different programs that you can reach out to your coach, and you get this coach for lifetime. And there's so many fun ideas, you guys. There's so many great ideas. There's some good ideas on Instagram. I follow the Facebook site. IMB3 is amazing for all the different workouts and stuff. So you definitely want to hop on there and get some of the workouts to try and get your own metabolism all boosted up. So that is just a brief little spiel. I'm open for questions. And so if any guys have any questions on BFR training, B3, weight loss, I'm happy to help if I can. And open if this. So
I have a question.
Yeah.
Dr. Tom from Wisconsin.
Hi, Dr. Tom.
How are you?
Good, good.
So I'm an avid biker.
Okay.
And do you use the bands while you bike?
I do. Uh-huh. Yeah,
How do you
I
keep
do.
them on? I'm struggling to keep them on my legs. They
you?
fall off. Probably because I sweat so much.
That might be part of it. I have tried a couple, if you're struggling, pumping them up a little bit more, getting a little bit snugger as you tighten them on. But some people, like, even not necessarily biking, but I'll have people that are sliding on their shorts that are slick. Those biking shorts are slick. Sometimes putting them underneath the shorts and on more of a cotton if you don't like it right on your skin. So that might help. But I use them on the indoor cycles. They're amazing on the indoor upright cycles, or outside when we don't have snow on the ground. I love putting them on for the 20 minutes and going hard.
Well, I live in Wisconsin, so we're we have snow.
You have snow.
Yeah, we got 8 inches yesterday. So
Okay.
but I got my bike on a trainer, and I if I'm lucky, 3-4 minutes, and then they start sliding down. And if I put them on too tight, it gets painful.
Right. Yeah. You got to find that balance. And are your biking shorts slippery?
Yeah. Yeah. They're regular. Yeah. They're I've got, 4 or 5 different pair. So, well, I'm going to try an idea that I have, and we'll see if this works. I'm going to try
I'd love to hear if that helps.
Put some Velcro on my shorts and put some on the inside of the band and see if that will help me.
Huh. Or maybe get some
no, just say that.
riding shorts that are
I don't know if they make some. I don't know if they have some that have a little more adhesive or trying to think what the word would be, rougher cloth with it.
Dr. Tom, have you tried cotton? And I know it sounds crazy, but like yoga pants cotton, that'll probably solve it. And get it a little bit wet. Spray a little mist on some kind of cotton material, and they won't slide over that.
So put them on over the biking shorts?
Yeah, or next the biking shorts, right? Because the cotton's probably going to slip over the biking shorts also. So,
well, then you don't have any padding on your tush.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a tough spot. Yeah, I would try another layer and put a little more.
No one's made the ideal bicycle seat yet, but when they do, they will be a gazillionaire.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Just get used to it.
Hey, Jeannine, can I chime in?
Yeah. What have you found helps?
So Dr. Tom, this is Sarah in Logan, and I've got my husband Mike here with me. And so we both cycle, and Mike wears a pair of athletic shorts that actually have compression shorts that are built into this his athletic shorts when he cycles, and he's never had a problem with those. And we just got those on Amazon. And so they're just men's athletic shorts, and they have compression shorts built in them, and he puts the bands directly on the compression shorts. And that's what he works out in, and that's what he rides in.
I will check it out.
So you can give that a shot.
I will, definitely, because I ride a lot. Last year I had record year where I averaged 110 miles a week.
Awesome.
Very good.
Yeah. And that double layer keeps the shorts from riding up and having, the Daisy Duke look on the guys. So it keeps it modest.
Cool.
If you're wearing them in public for the guys. So that's my 2 cents.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yes, this is Jay Clark from New York.
Hi, Jay.
Yes, how are you? Doc, I'd just like to find out what's the, I would say maybe average weight loss with some of your clients per week?
Well, it depends. That's a good question because everybody's different on their weight loss. A lot of times we'll say 1 to 2 pounds, to try to keep that. some people, if they're really strict on nutrition, as far as keeping it clean, and making sure they balance, then they might see a little more. I have seen, this is another interesting thing that I've seen, and utilizing, BFR training, you're burning a high amount of calories. And if you go too low on your calorie intake, then it'll slow down the weight loss. So, or you may even gain weight because your body tends to go into a starvation state. So I've seen this several times where maybe they went a little too strict on the diet and they were using the bands, and their net, after you deduct what you're burning off, say you're burning off 600, 800 calories with BFR training through the day, and you're only taking in 1,1400 calories, then it went too low as far as the net caloric intake. And so they weren't able to lose weight. So you do have to find that really sweet spot for your body,
Right.
you need to take in and what your body needs with the training in order to lose weight. And maybe I have one client, he was like 1 pound a week and he was saying 2,500 calories was what he needed. So.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Jeannine, this is Ellen.
Hi, Ellen.
So I have a question for you. I have fibromyalgia in my neck between my shoulder blades. What would you recommend?
So you have, what did you say in your neck? Fibromyalgia?
Yeah.
Yeah, my sister had I say had because she doesn't seem to have it anymore, but she had fibromyalgia pretty bad too, and that's painful. It really is. So and that's where that light exercise came into. It's really handy where you can just do light, like she did water aerobics and stuff. I don't know if you can get in the water or just do. I wouldn't do a lot of overhead lifting. Just do the lighter lifting, maybe with the resistance bands, and keep it below the shoulder. And you could still do your arms or your legs, and do those workouts, but maybe not the overhead lifts. And just still with those light exercises, you can still get in a pretty good burn, and that nitric oxide should help with that pain.
Okay.
And feel the body up. But you did really good on your weight loss, Ellen. You started using the bands. Do you mind sharing a little bit about your weight loss story when you started using the bands in your weight loss journey?
Sure, I would love to. So I'm Ellen. I'm from Providence or Logan, either one. I met Jeannine at a thing, and I was pretty heavy at the time. I think I was 170, 160, somewhere there. And Jeannine told me all about the B3 science, and I met up with her in her little thing here in Cache Valley, and she did this whole thing with me, and she got me on this diet that really has helped me out. I'm still on that diet, by the way. And I've been doing the B3 bands for quite some time, and I've enjoyed having the burn and how, you get that energy. And, I love doing it first thing in the morning because that's my style. B3 has been a great effect to me, and I've lost quite a bit of weight. I'm about 140 now and kind of holding that. And so I'm for B3 science, and I'm grateful for Jeannine. Thanks, Jeannine.
Yeah, you bet. I think on that, generally it's diet because you're talking about food, but I like to call, because diet to me sounds like a 4-letter word, called the healthy eating plan, and trying to pair that up with the exercise. And Ellen did a great job with that. Good job. She's maintaining her healthy lifestyle right now. Any other questions?
Hi, my name is Lucretia. I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Lucretia.
So I know in the beginning of the slides, you were talking about human growth the human growth hormone, HGH.
Yeah.
And that our body produces it and slows down. Tell me about the synthetic ones or the ones that they sell. Are they harmful to the body? Or do you know?
That would probably be a good question for Dr. Mike. I know I've met several people that have used the synthetic hormones, and from my understanding, that shuts down the production of their natural, and it's not as effective as your natural. Of course, generally the natural growth hormone is much more effective than the synthetic ones. Am I correct, Dr. Mike, in saying that generally it does shut down your natural production of growth hormone?
Yeah, that's true. It does. And, you know, if you stay on it too long, then you're looking at probably being stuck on it. And then as people get older, right, you run the risk of, you know, one of our biggest challenges with health is cancer. Growth hormone, synthetic growth hormones, been shown in many studies to cause a increase in, you know, tumor growth. So you certainly don't want to be taking synthetic growth hormone, you know, if you got any issues like that. So there's a lot of worries with synthetic growth hormone, and Jeannine hit it right on the head. There's nothing like your own natural growth hormone. You were meant to exercise, and now with the bands, 5-10 minutes a day, you're going to be able to maintain elevated levels of growth hormone. Great question.
It's a lot less expensive too. I know this one guy was taking it was like $3,000 per month for his growth hormone, where he was getting it from. So it definitely is a lot less expensive to put the bands on. And what is it, like 50 cents a workout, I guess, when you average it out. So yeah, good question though.
Thank you both.
Hi, I'm Jen from California.
Hi, Jen.
Hi, totally been only using this 4 days. And I've been in the fitness world for, well, man, 18 years, full-time personal trainer and everything. So it's kind of rocking my world a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I'm getting a little addicted. So like, is it okay? I'm still trying to figure out the safety, I guess. Like, is it okay if I do 20 minutes of cardio and then I take them off? Can I wait 20-30 minutes, put them on for weightlifting? Is it more beneficial to work light weights versus heavy? So I have a couple questions as far as like workout routines, like, and what do you think is most beneficial?
You know, Jen, because I had some of those same challenges myself. You know, I felt like 20 minutes was a warm up, more was better, you know. And it was actually Amber Cavet's story that really changed my perspective of it when she came on, and she's another trainer, you know, and she was talking about how she was using them for multiple episodes, you know, like during her training and longer than 20 minutes. And she was struggling with her weight loss, and just by cutting it back to 20 minutes, then she lost like 50 pounds. And so it kind of depends on like your goal. But Dr. Mike, when I asked him about this too, and I'm glad he's on, but he'd say, get in, get the burn, get out, you know, and just do 20 minutes, Jeannine. And when I did this, we did a 12-week transformation. And this was the biggest eye opener for me, is this 12-week transformation. We all agreed as coaches, we would only do 20 minutes. Like we wouldn't be putting them back on and doing more and all this stuff. And I even had to get people to teach some of my classes, and so I could honor this. And my body fat dropped lower than it ever had. And when I start training longer periods, and especially as I get into tri-season, I start training, my body fat always goes up. But when I do the 20 minutes with the band, my body fat dropped down and I became leaner than I ever had. So I definitely became a believer, but I get it.
So 20 minutes max, basically.
But if you can get a good burn, you know, get a good burn in that 20 minutes, you get in, get a good burn and get out.
And then don't put them back on. Okay. But it can be 7 days a week. Can it be 7 days a week? Yeah.
Dr. Mike always said, only on the days you want to feel good. And I'm like you, I'm addicted. So
100%.
Every day. I would have felt every day I put them on except for Sunday.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Lana Stevenson, she's in San Diego.
Yeah, so Jeannine, I'm also one of the distance junkies.
Okay.
And I will use them on occasion, twice a day, I'll do cardio with them, like light running for 20 minutes in the morning. And then maybe later that day, just do a light 3-minute upper body, 3-minute lower body. And that has been working great for me. And then of course it's taken down my cardio training, the amount of time by so much. And having been a competitive marathoner, I have been struggling literally to get back to a somewhat decent pace. I used to run a 6:35 marathon. And every time I got to the place where I was just about to break through, I would get injured. And I have found doing it this way with 3 times a week, I'll do it twice a day. I'm running like 50 to 55 seconds per mile faster already in a couple of months without breaking down. And for me, this is, and way less mileage. So it works. It's great.
Nice.
And I'm
Thanks for
addicted.
sharing with you. So you're doing 2 20 minutes and one in the morning.
About 3 times a week. And the other days I'll do just the morning, the one time.
Nice, that's good to know. I know, Dr. Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, you've always said if you want to do one session, take them off, have a little break, and then put them on and do another session. That's an option, but not necessarily to receive a lot more of the growth hormone release, because your body will release during that intense first 20-minute session. So
Yeah, but I leave a big window before I do the second session.
nice.
Like I'll do
Yeah.
morning and evening.
Yeah, unless we're 25, long training leads to cortisol. So this is why, Amber, training her whole life, Jeannine her whole life, realized when I go short and I don't put them back on, I step away, right? Step away from the exercise equipment. It's like a 10-step program, right? But you all of a sudden go completely anabolic, mean it's all growth hormone and it's no cortisol. You got to understand, when you release cortisol, it trumps growth hormone. So if you overtrain, you will destroy all the work you did getting the growth hormone, because the cortisol will take over. And it's okay when you're 25, 30, but you overtrain when you're in your 40s, 50s, or 60s, or if you got any aches or pains, and you're not going to change. You're just going to stay where you're at, and you're going to think you're supposed to be changing. But you're not. I mean, Larry can attest to that. We'll have Larry come on here and he'll tell you, what he saw. He's probably plateaued at a great level, by the way, but all of a sudden, you do these BFR workouts short, and Larry, kind of tell him what you experienced.
Yeah, guys, thanks. Could you hear me, Dr. Mike?
I can.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for everybody being on the call. And Jeannine, always outstanding. Thanks so much for the time and effort you put in always to the presentations. It's awesome. We were in Jack LaLanne's gym this week, Todd Dirk and I and Greg Justice. And Jack probably worked out 90 minutes every morning. He actually worked out the day he died. But we only did 20 minutes because we had the bands on. And we were able to go in there and get a 20-minute great workout, all 3 of us in there in Jack LaLanne's gym. I don't know if his spirit was smiling or maybe he was looking at us going like, what are y'all doing? But when I first got in, I did do a 12-week program, 20 minutes a day. And if you look at the testimony on the app for Larry and Naviglia, I pretty much go through all the numbers, but everything that Jeannine's talking about, I experienced. My basic metabolic rate went up. I gained 5 pounds of muscle. I was using the bands only 20 minutes a day, and I was alternating days, 3 strength days and then 3 cardio days. I did take 1 day off on Sunday. I took, pretty much 1 day where I didn't use the bands. Then I also used the bands 20 minutes a day when I trained for the California Senior Fitness Games. All I did was use the bands 20 minutes a day, same basic routine, and I did very well. So less is more in a sense. And 20 minutes sessions are what you want to do. I've had a couple of days where maybe I'll do what Lana's doing, cardio in the morning, 20 minutes, maybe strength in the afternoon, 20, but typically you can get everything in a well-designed program like Jeannine was talking about, an upper, lower, and then cardio core focus in 20 minutes without a problem. So I encourage everybody to try that out and to share that with some people that save time. You do have to use some higher repetitions, and once you get used to that, You could use better form throughout the entire range of motion of your strength routines. And it's actually more fun as well. So that's what I have found overall in the past 1 year now since I've been using them. In fact, Dr. Mike, I first put them on exactly a year ago.
Thanks
Yeah,
for sharing, Larry.
That's right. But Larry, tell them what happened to when you did these short workouts, Larry. Tell them real quick what happened to your, and you've been a fitness person your whole life. What happened to your body fat and muscle percentage when you went shorter with the bands?
Yeah, with the bands after 12 weeks, and Jeannine did the 90 days as well. I went from underwater weighing. I did hydrostatic weighing underwater. That's the most accurate still. 10.5%. I went down to 8.1. Resting metabolic rate was 1523 calories, which is fairly high. But after the 12 weeks, I was at 1780. So my resting metabolic rate went up, and I gained 5 pounds in muscle. And then all my strength work that I was taking, pull-ups, push-ups, chin-ups, basic curls, all the strength measures, and then also conditioning, 500-meter row and 300-yard shuttle, all that stuff was improved. And the one thing which was nice, I did tear a meniscus, my meniscus in my knee a couple of years ago. Even though it's still torn, I don't have any pain in the knee anymore since I started using the bands. So I think that comes from the nitric oxide, also the thinning of blood a little bit. And so that's always a bonus. So those are some of the things I experienced with, again, 20-minute sessions.
Way to go.
Lighter weight, higher reps.
And everyone on the call, this is the new science. This is what we're seeing. No pain, no gain is not the smart way to work out anymore. Okay. If you're having pain after workout and pain the next day, unless you're in your 20s, early 30s, you're going to release cortisol. If you go no stress, but all anabolic, what does that mean? You're going and getting all the burn you can get, which is what triggers the lactic acid, which triggers the growth hormone. Heavy weights is not what's triggering growth hormone. Heavy weights is a tool to produce lactic acid and get growth hormone, but it's the lactic acid. So what you're doing with the bands is you're eliminating all the stress to get that burn, which triggers the growth hormone, and you're minimizing any stress response, specifically cortisol or inflammation from a joint. Now your growth hormone is basically not being blocked. Your nitric oxide is not being interfered with. Your body's not under any stress. It can go all anabolic. Anabolic means fat burn, protein synthesis, muscle gain, strength gain, increase in metabolic rate, improvement in your cardiovascular system, improvement in bone density, proper functioning of your thyroid, regulation of blood sugar, probably eliminate insulin resistance. So this is why, I've been preaching this for a while now, because I read this research and then I experienced it. And now you see all these other people that have experienced the same thing. Get the bands off, get the burn, and, get them off. Get the bands on, get the burn, step on the gas, get them off, and then go about your day. Anybody else, thought or question? Awesome job, Jeannine. Go ahead.
Hey, this is Patty. Hi, Jeannine. How are you?
Hi, good. Welcome, Patty.
Thank you. I have a couple questions. The first one is timing of using the bands if the goal is weight loss. And then the second part is the nutritional approach in conjunction with the bands, because I've heard a lot of people experimenting with the intermittent fasting like you talked about earlier. And I'm wondering what's the best nutritional approach when using these bands?
Well, one thing that I think has been a common thing that I've seen is just making sure that you kind of find that balance so you're not getting too low and it's not too high. So you can do a workout and burn 600 calories and go eat 1,000 calories, right? So we've just finding out what your balance is, and that's where the scan kind of came in handy, of finding out what your energy needs were, and then saying, all right, so with these workouts, I need to eat like 1,800 calories. And then as far as like when to eat them and stuff like that, a really interesting study came out just from the American Heart Association and stuff on this intermittent fasting and whether it made a difference. And they actually found that it was more of the portion control and the overall calories, not whether or not that they ate, you know, or didn't eat for longer periods of time. So the recommendation was actually to, you know, not just to have regular portion controlled meals and snacks rather than long-term intermittent. And I know there's a lot of controversy and some works for some people and some don't. So you kind of have to find out what works for your body. But my favorite thing as far as for me and what I recommend clients is like, you know, maybe just a 12-hour fast from like 7 to 7, you know, let your body's digestive systems rest and do like a 12-hour one versus an extended period, and then just monitor the portion size and, you know, make sure that you're finding your balance that's not too low and it's not too high. It's just right. It's just finding that just right spot that sometimes takes a little bit of manipulation and playing, because as you're burning, you know, your body's going to lose weight if you're normally maintaining your weight at like eating 1,800 calories and you're used to maintaining, and you throw in the bands and you start burning an extra 400 or 500 calories, it'll start losing. But if you're used to eating like a 2,500 calorie and you may, you know, your body's gaining at that, then you might need to drop the calories down a little bit to find out that spot where you can lose weight and what is good for your body.
Great, thank you. And is there a time of day that's better to use the bands?
I don't know, me personally, and Dr. Mike might differ from me. I mean, like anytime that you can wear them, but get a workout in. But I like to use them first thing in the morning because I feel so much more energy as it kind of peaks up through the day. So for me, my ideal has always been in the morning, just so I can get that extra energy in. But I always tell people, you know, they've done a lot of studies on when's the best time to exercise, morning, night, whatever. And it's just like whenever you can get it in, it's the overall health benefits of exercise that's best. And definitely the benefits of doing BFR training with the B3 bands that really elevates the benefits of the exercise.
Great, thanks, Jeannine.
All right, calling it a wrap. Thank you guys so much for coming on today. And
Great job, Jeannine. Awesome.
Thank you, Jeannine.
Great
Thanks,
job. Thank you.
Jeannine.
Woohoo,
Good
did
night,
great.
everyone.
Good night.
Awesome job.
Night.
Awesome job.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Good job, Jeannine.
Thank you, Jeannine. Lots of good info.
thank you. Thanks, you